trouble. I've been digging too deep, I always do. See my face on the surface, I lock and lot like a narcissist. A dark abyss on an emptiness, standing on the edge of a drowning blue. Look behind my ears for the green, and even my sweat smells clean. Glare of the white hurts my eyes. Gotta get out of bed, get a hammer and a nail, learn how to use my hands. Not just my head, I think myself into jail. Now I know refuge never grows from a chin in a hand in a thoughtful pose. Gotta tend the earth if you wanna rose. I had a lot of good intentions, sat around for 50 years and collect a pension. Started seeing the road to hell just where it starts. But my life is more than a vision. Sweetest part is acting after making decision. Started seeing the whole as the sum of its parts. Look behind my ears for the green, and even my sweat smells clean. Glare of the white hurts my eyes. Gotta get out of bed, get a hammer and a nail, learn how to use my hands. Not just my head, I think myself into jail. Now I know refuge never grows from a chin in a hand in a thoughtful pose. Gotta tend the earth if you wanna rose. My life is part of a global life. Found myself becoming more immobile. When I think a little girl in the world can't do anything. Destination, my community. Street person, my responsibility. If I have a care in the world, I have a gift to bring. Look behind my ears for the green, and even my sweat smells clean. Glare of the white hurts my eyes. Gotta get out of bed, get a hammer and a nail, learn how to use my hands. Not just my head, I think myself into jail. Now I know refuge never grows from a chin in a hand in a thoughtful pose. Gotta tend the earth if you wanna rose.
On Tuesday, I was walking our brand new labyrinth at church. As I walked beside the communion table, which was scooted up against the wall by the stained glass, I paused. I looked at the open Bible on our altar and saw that it was turned to the love chapter from 1 Corinthians. This was because last month, when I officiated my first wedding during a pandemic with limited in-person attendees, Alex asked me what would be a good verse to turn the Bible to for their ceremony. Beside the Bible on that altar, I saw a few precious strips of wax from their homemade wedding candles. I looked up toward the stained glass and remembered how they wanted their Hogwarts banner hung on the wall for the service. We stacked the choir risers on top of each other to see if they would give me the boost I needed to climb on top and get the banner high enough. It wasn't high enough. So we put a chair on top of the stacked choir risers, and like a Slytherin serpent, I crawled on top and was finally able to reach the right spot for their banner. The soon-to-be husbands below were spotting me and holding the chair stable. I looked at the wall in front of me and wished badly for a hammer and a nail. Other nails were sticking out from the wall, probably leftovers from past banners. I saw 2 push pins and thought, that'll do. I attached the banner with as much strength as one can exert upon a push pin. This song, Hammer and a Nail by the Indigo Girls, is about exerting strength, taking action, and not just sitting with your chin in your hand in a thoughtful pose. Proverbs 14:23 is a shortened version of this entire song. It says, "In all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty." The Message translation says it this way: "Hard work always pays off. Mere talk puts no bread on the table." Last week at our Wednesday night beverage and Bible study, we discussed this song, and one church attender said that she found 3 reasons in these song lyrics for why folks don't follow through on taking action. One reason she found was narcissism. The songwriter says, "I see my face on the surface. I look a lot like Narcissus." In Greek mythology, Narcissus was a hunter who was known for his beauty. Some who loved him took their own lives to prove their devotion to his striking splendor. The Greek goddess of revenge, Nemesis, cursed Narcissus because he broke so many hearts. She cursed him to fall in love with his own reflection, and eventually, while staring at himself in the water's reflection, he drowned. There's a pejorative term that has gained usage since the George Floyd protests, which reminds me of narcissism. It's called performative activism, or performative allyship, or performative wokeness. This type of action is surface level and referred to as slacktivism. A Wikipedia article about this topic states that one of the most crippling tendencies of modern liberals is their obsession with being seen, whether it be at a protest wearing a fuzzy pink hat or in viral tweets. This preoccupation with optics is more often than not self-centered, a fixation on clever protest signs, making cheap symbolic gestures and catchy remarks to center oneself instead of the issue. This is the last thing I want to do as an ally. We must actually use the hammer and the nail and not just take pictures while holding them, turning them into props for a photo op. Another reason within these song lyrics for not taking action is good intentions. The songwriter says, "I had a lot of good intentions. Sit around for 50 years and then collect a pension. Started seeing the road to hell and just where it starts." The road to hell is paved with good intentions, so they say. If you're not a social media person, then you might not be up to speed regarding the outrage, backlash, and Twitter storm surrounding J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter, in regards to transgender issues. First, I read the articles about the actors who starred in the Harry Potter movies, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, and others, who came out against J.K. Rowling's essay to proclaim trans women are women. Duh, of course. Then I read J.K. Rowling's essay about her reasons for speaking out on sex and gender issues. Within that essay, she lays out 5 of her reasons for being worried about what she calls new trans activism. I was able to follow along and listen to what she was saying for part of the essay. I 100% was upset when she put male predators who might claim to be female in order to gain access to women's restrooms alongside actual trans women. We already debunked this myth about bathroom predators several years ago. Just Google it. Male predators have nothing to do with trans women, also known as simply women. It sounds like from her own perspective, J.K. Rowling had some good intentions. She intended to speak up for the safety of women and girls. However, may I refer you back to the proverb? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. On Monday, in a landmark case, the Supreme Court ruled LGBTQ workers are protected from job discrimination. On Thursday, senators pushed for a vote on the Equality Act to codify and expand those protections. But they were thwarted by an Oklahoma senator, James Lankford, who cited Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling in remarks against moving forward with this bill. The Equality Act is insufficient, he said, because it makes no exemption for religious liberty and privacy issues. I wonder if J.K. Rowling ever imagined that her good intentions would be used to halt the Equality Act. None of us are exempt from the consequences of our good intentions whenever they go awry. The last pitfall my church attender found in these lyrics for not taking action is actually the act of taking too much action all at once. Burnout. The song says, "I've been digging too deep. I always do." Sometimes we're on fire and want to make a true difference, to make our life count. We jump in way too deep, way too fast, which can result in our actions not being sustainable or long-lived. You cannot go to every march and vigil, read every book, retweet every important voice, call every legislator, and get arrested at every protest. I mean, you can, but you probably won't be in any movement for very long, which is what we need for sustained and long-lived resistance. You must pace your actions and attend to self-care. Otherwise, you run the risk of burnout and quitting before you even really begin. I think about the immigration activists who have been working on behalf of dreamers and immigrants for years. On Thursday, the Supreme Court blocked the president's attempt to end Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. The federal program, created in 2002, protects from deportation about 700,000 immigrants who arrived in the U.S. as children. Folks for whom America has been their only real home, and English their primary or only language. We have been advocating for years for immigration justice, and to be able to do so long-term requires pacing, not burnout. Our own Oklahoma Vigil for Immigration Justice began on January 31st, 2018. That was 2.5 years ago. My favorite part of this Indigo Girl song is the last stanza. It says, "My life is part of the global life. A distant nation, my community. A street person, my responsibility. If I have a care in the world, I have a gift to bring." I know we have many cares in the world, and we have many gifts to bring, our metaphorical hammers and nails. Some of us will bring the gift of unfurling the labyrinth and inviting people to attend to their inner lives. Some of us will be inspired to create the handmade candles and support our causes with craftiness. Some will be asked to hold the chair steady and be spotters for those who are climbing on up. Some will have the task of scaling great heights, exerting strength, and changing out our banners, of painting powerful words upon our city streets, of using a hammer and a nail to co-create, to help craft the kingdom of God. May it be so. Amen.